Welcome back. This is your host Siris King, and on this YouTube episode, sometimes I gotta get used to saying YouTube and not podcast. On this YouTube episode, I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna just give you my thoughts on the coronavirus or COVID-19 situation, pandemic, potential cause for a global recession or even worse. And I know I purposely did not, and I'm probably gonna make another separate video on my health channel about Corona. But on this channel, I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on what I think about the situation. And I purposely didn't make a video very early. I mean, we're kind of in America. It seems like Corona, sometime between March 10th and March 14th, it shifted everything in America. It was going on in Asia from like November, but in the States, about a March 10th, I would say, between March 10th and March 14th. And, we've had unprecedented lockdown, literally, where they literally shut the country down. If your job is not an essential service, you're not supposed to be outside. And it's probably going to get slightly worse before it gets better, because I'm seeing in some states they're actually forcing people to wear masks, and if you don't have a mask, they're fining you. So when I see stuff like that, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. And when these type of things happen, I like to see, what does the spiritual community say, right? What is the spiritual community's response to it? And so far, it's been cringeworthy at best. And when I say cringeworthy, you got the conspiracy community, who seems to be more focused on it being a weapon, right? Which is okay. I can see it. I mean, that theory about it being a weapon is, it doesn't even matter to me if it's right or wrong, if it's correct or it's not, because the virus still exists, right? So whether it's a weapon, whether nature made it or whether they made it, on the practical level, on the everyday life, it still exists. And what are you going to do to protect yourself and your loved ones? That's just real talk, right? And I think sometimes with a lot of conspiracy, like when conspiracy people want to know why people don't believe in conspiracies, and don't get me wrong, 50% of people never believe in conspiracies, right? 50% of people are brainwashed. If the establishment doesn't tell them what to believe, what to think, they're not going to think. So I give you that. 50% of people, it wouldn't matter what, right? They wouldn't believe it in anything conspiracy people say anyway. But the other 50% is more susceptible to it. They will listen. But conspiracy theorists sometimes don't understand how to translate things in everyday life. So in everyday life, when people's family members are dying, when people lose their businesses, right? A conspiracy person will talk more about the government making it a weapon versus nature. When the person who lost their business said, hey man, I gotta eat. So if I gotta eat, I don't give a fuck. That's just being honest. I don't give a fuck. Right? And sometimes that by itself is too real for conspiracy people. But as bad as conspiracy people are when it comes to Corona, they're not the worst. Not at all. The worst I would have to say is the people who call themselves the holistic, well, both of them actually, but let's just say the conscious community, or some people say this as a as a mean term, the Hotep community, right? Whatever name you want to call them. I looked at them and I saw when Corona first came out, the first thing they said was, black people don't get Corona. That's the first thing they actually said, which was cringeworthy. So cringe, because you got to understand, and this is primarily the reason why when I've been making videos since 2009, right? You're talking about 11 years, right? Actually more than that, but I'm talking about spiritual videos. If you just talk about videos, it's longer, but let's just say spiritual videos, 11 years. And I never wanted to be associated with these people. Why? Because these people are all emotion. I understand the word racism is a real thing. Historically, in the present, on every level of our society. I understand that. But when you're spiritual, it's not about ignoring it, but it's about motivating people to be better and motivating people to be smarter. If you really believe certain people are your enemies, right? That's what you believe. Truly be smarter than them. Because the first thing they said was, it doesn't affect black people. Now here's the thing. You could talk about melanin all day. You could talk about any of these things all day. And at the end of the day, what virus can you really name? Yes, there's some viruses that affect different races differently. But for the most part, the human DNA is too close to each other, regardless of race, to think that a virus is going to affect one group and not the other group. That's insanity. If everyone catches the cold, everyone can catch corona. That's just stupid talk. Just being honest. So after now when we're at the stage where more black people, African Americans get corona, not that they get corona, they die from corona more than, so far in America, it seems like it's hitting the African American community more than any other community, right? And so now they have to change it. And they're mixing it with their conspiracy brethren. You know, the conspiracy brethren talk about 5Gs as well, 5G towers, and they want you outside or inside because they're building 5G towers, and the 5G towers are the ones causing corona because of radiation. Again, this is what I'm talking about. If you would have told me the 5G towers causes cancer, then I can see it. Maybe. I can see that. Radiation, cancer cells, disrupting your cells, okay. But a virus. This is like 8th grade. This is like 8th grade information. A virus is not the same as a cancer cell. Understand that. That's why people could have cancer, and you could be around somebody with cancer, and they don't spread it to you. This is just common. If it's not 8th grade, you learn this in high school, like the beginning of high school, okay? Virus is not the same as cancer cells. So if you say 5G towers are causing it, well, it wouldn't be a virus. I mean, I don't understand. This is insanity. You got people catching corona in Papua New Guinea. We don't really got that much towers. No 5G towers in Papua New Guinea. So stop. That's what I'm talking about with the spiritual community in general. If you're spiritual, it should translate into other areas of your life intellectually. The spiritual world gives birth to all other worlds. Right, so intellectually, it should translate better, and for some reason it doesn't, because this is common sense, and this is the theories that people are spitting. They put in videos out spitting this. They're literally like, let me do a video real fast, right? They do the video fast, and then this is the nonsense that they're coming up with. I'm like, damn, you can't do better than that. And this is not to attack anybody. This is just real talk, because we're in a real stage of our civilization as a people of all human races, right? The time to put the time for the childish toys is over. The childish theories is over. What are you going to do about it? When I made videos about Messiah seeds, and I said Messiah seeds, or if you want to get New Age propaganda, star seeds, indigo children, if you guys are supposed to be the leaders of your people, of your group that you represent, you can't be on these theories, because the Hotep, aka conscious community, literally went from black people don't get it to now it's a weapon. I've even heard stuff like it's a weapon for black people, even though it started in Asia. And this is what happens when you are from a bubble and you exist in the bubble, and when you're in that bubble, you don't know there's other bubbles outside. And you know, in these days and times, it's been happening. All bubbles, all worlds will crash into each other. That's just the reality of it. So you could be in your own little bubble all day. Eventually, it's going to crash into another bubble. And only the strongest bubble is going to win. It's going to survive. That's just the reality of it. So if you're going to have your theories, get basic high school education. Get your the education that you got in high school, access it again. Recall it from your subconscious mind, because this is cringy at best. And at the end of the day, when it comes to corona, it's 2 phases that you have to realize. Really 3. But I'm not gonna do the 3rd on this video. The 2 is the viral impact. How many people are gonna die or be sick? We're gonna get past that quicker. The second wave is the business impact, the social impact, the cultural impact. That's going to be different. Or people going to be wearing masks. Or some people going to be wearing masks from this point in time. From this point on, are they going to be wearing masks? You know, in some ways, Are people going to go to restaurants? Are people going to go to movies? Are people going to go to live sporting events? Of course, some people are going to go, but how many people are not going to go? Does it make sense? Even trickling down, like right now in Chicago, there's Chicago jail that's considered the epicenter of the corona in the country, right? How we incarcerate people can change, potentially. And it's sad because in the end of the day, no matter what, if you come from the spiritual lane, if you come from the astrological lane, if you come from the scientific lane, you call it climate change. If you come from the religious chain, especially the Christianity, you call it the end times. All these different lanes or bubbles have all said the same thing. If you are a prepper and saying that society is gonna fall, so we gotta prepare for it, no matter what lane you choose, it's all the same. And when I say all the same, I mean that in the end, when you look at it, we have a lot of things to come to grips with it. At the end of the day, society as we know it has always been fragile. Period. We're like surviving on borrowed time anyway. And society eventually will go through massive transformations, and I'm not talking about spiritual. No matter, in the end of the day, this has been the biggest problem I've had with spiritual people, is that they have embraced spirituality that is not in tune with the ecosystem of nature. So it's almost like saying, if you're going to be spiritual, we have to get back into the ways of indigenous peoples. Whether they be indigenous Native Americans, indigenous Aborigines, indigenous Scandinavians, indigenous Africans, we have to get back into that. And we never did. And when I say we have to get back into that, I'm not saying it as a hippie. I'm saying it because when you begin to understand the pulse of the planet, the pulse of the ecosystem, humanity as we have it is like a plague to nature. So nature cleanses herself out, period. That's how it goes. Study extinction events. Study, when you have the ice ages. This is not new to nature. And I find it fitting that it's a virus. Because when we talk about society being fragile, the virus, and look, I have so many people around me. I'm from New York, the epicenter, right? I have so many people around me who have who are suffering from that indirectly, whether it's their family members, whether it's my family members. So when I hear these people saying it's not real, it's a fucking joke to me. I know it's real, but we could pretend. It's still a 3% death rate. As bad as that is, society shut down for something that's extremely contagious, I do admit, with a 3% death rate. What if we had something just as contagious with a 50% death rate or 100% death rate? We wouldn't have a society right now. I wouldn't be making this YouTube video right now. And is it possible? Hell yeah, it's freaking possible. Will it happen? Eventually, it probably would. Not the society part, but the part where, oh shoot, we have oh man, oh shoot, if this was something bigger, we'll be all in trouble. That's very real. That's very real. So I think we have to start to become more mature. If we're spiritual and we're supposed to be the leaders of people in our circles, in our families, in our friendship networks, we got to stop. We got to put the childish things away. Whether it's created by man, whether it's created by nature, same result. Same result. At the end of the day, and if you have any doubt with that, take the dog. The shamans domesticated the dog from the wolf, right? Nature could not generate the dog naturally by herself. We took the wolf and we domesticated it and we created dogs. Does that mean dogs are not real? Doesn't mean we don't love dogs? Of course not. So the thing is, we're scared. People are scared. People are stressed. People don't know what's going on. People don't know what to expect. So part of all this stuff is that you're scared. You don't know what to expect. Fine. But don't try to counter the fear by pretending you're not and making insane theories. Because even if somebody says it's time, I've heard theories like, oh, it's like a radiation and this cosmic energy is coming in, transforming us. Well, dude, even if that's true, what are you doing to transform though? When the cosmic rays comes in, you got to be doing a vicious type of yoga or spiritual routine to even receive that wave. Why you think you said yoga means connecting to the divine, right? Union with the divine. Kabbalah means to receive. Because in mature spiritual systems, they have a physical regimen that transforms your mind, body, and spirit at the same time. That's the only time transformation can happen. What are you doing to transform your body? You could talk about cosmic waves coming in if you're not shaping your mind, spirit, and body, and at the same time, you wouldn't be able to receive those waves. That's just real talk. That's just real spirituality. And it's time that we put the childish things away. Siris King. Till next time. Peace.